What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Shonen and Chill, hosted by Zenrotto and Oceaniz. Uh,
Hello.
Episode 21. We're moving toward 30 now. That's
Yep.
nuts.
We're
And just
we're
like
reaching 30.
just like off week chapters, we have those little bonus episodes too. So technically, we're even closer to
Oh God.
30 than just the numbered episodes.
Yeah,
So yeah, we're a
damn.
little bit late this week. We had some scheduling conflicts, as it does when you have a show with multiple people on it. But
Mhm.
we're back to dish the dirt about kids' comic books from Japan.
Yeah. I completely structure my schedule so that I can be ready to tell you about why Horikoshi needs to just fucking punch me already. Uh, but that's for later.
For another time. That's
Well,
for
for
another
later this
time.
episode.
The later, yeah, another time being in probably half an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, all
Well,
right, all right. Let's go ahead. Let's just jump in. What was your top three this week?
Oh, actually, my top three this week were interesting because we had this delay. They actually changed throughout the week.
Really? That's interesting.
Yes,
Mine did
because
not.
I did make the effort to reread, especially My Hero, a couple of times because I really wanted to make sure I actually knew what I thought about it. And so at the beginning, it was Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero, and Mashle, and now it's My Hero, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Mashle.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
Mine is Jujutsu Kaisen, Doctor Stone, and then My Hero.
Okay. Do we want to go with the off-brand Walmart
Yeah,
series
we'll go
first?
with the RC Cola series first. So
Supermarket Cola.
yeah. So the first one is My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
Oh fuck! I didn't even read that one.
Don't worry, nothing happens in it.
Oh, okay,
He
good.
runs around and various superheroes. Actually, no, I'm wrong. This is the best chapter of Vigilantes that they've ever been because Best Jeanist is in it.
No, I can't
He
believe I
he
missed
has an
that.
extended conflict scene with the crawler where he uses his powers.
Oh my god, I cannot believe I missed it. I am the
You
worst
you
co-host
ruined
imaginable.
everything.
I cannot believe this shit. Like, hashtag get oceans off the chill. Literally the worst co-host imaginable.
Oh man, I forgot. Yeah, but basically all he does is he's running away from heroes, trying to not get arrested, so he can make sure
Mhm.
that Pop doesn't get assassinated in the hospital. And he's like, "Aha! I did it. I gave him the slip." And then Eraserhead shows up, and he's like, "Ah, but I am Batman, and I hunt in the night where you do your
Mhm.
work. You won't get away from me." And he like closes a Bible or whatever he's reading. It's probably, I don't know, but it's funny to think it's a Bible. It's probably like a comic book. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, and then he's like, "Get it, crawler," and then it says "Erase your hero, Eraserhead," and then it ends. So
Oh, okay.
they're gonna
Okay.
fight, I guess.
Okay. I mean, cool. I don't want to speak too loudly. Like if I'm gonna say fuck vigilantes with my chest, I would like to say it after I've actually read it.
That's fair.
Like
The
I have
mere presence of
standards.
Best Jeanist makes it the best chapter in the entire thing.
I mean, it's in the name, isn't it? Best genist.
Correct. All right, so we'll move on from that then. Oh man,
Mhm.
that one YouTube commenter, someone literally said, "I can't wait for this time." Oh, that's a shame for that guy. Uh,
Uh,
let's
it's okay.
move
We'll
to
serenade best genist some other time.
let's move to Phantom Seer.
Very good.
Yeah,
Enjoyed it a lot.
shit pie. It pops every week, but it was really good this week. That last
Mhm.
chapter of like, all right, time to wake up, Iori, is like the coolest page.
Yeah, it's so old school in a way, to have the cliffhanger be the main character comes out of their coma that let other characters do stuff, and now he's back. Like it very much reminded me of like Goku coming out of the pod, but like more hype because Yori's powers are like really cool, and Goku is literally like 40 years old, so I don't care.
No boomers in my manga, please.
I will say I genuinely have trouble getting too hyped for like older series anymore. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I, especially Dragon Ball, I associate with like I think we talked about it last episode. The people were like, "Oh, nothing good has been made ever since Dragon Ball dropped." Like that's my association when I see Goku and stuff. So I'm like, give me some of the newer kids.
That's fair.
Mm. But yeah, like Phantom Zero was great. The fight keeps going on, and like the actual action scenes are so cool. Like the way like the what's the word? Like the ropes, I guess, or the strings, like those thick, metally looking strings that the girl had this chapter. Like the way they're used to like direct your eye is super cool.
Oh yeah, they
Uh,
almost look like, I think it's just rope, but it almost looks like metal cable or something.
yeah, it almost looks like Best Genius's like cable attacks.
Yeah, not quite that elegant, but yeah.
No, of course, it's just knockoff denim after all.
Right. It's just illegal denim.
Yeah. Also, I like the little story with the doll girl and the doll, where it's like it's not as straightforward as just haha, I was actually the doll master all along. It's more like we're kind of in a symbiotic relationship almost, which is super cool. And like the way it shows Senju Doji coming in and like taking advantage of this super specific problem and giving them the arm. I thought that was super creative and cool. So yeah, all around just a good chapter.
Yeah, I like that it can keep doing action chapters back to back, but because every single like chapter of it, there's some different power on display. So it never feels like a Dragon Ball fight where you're like, wow, this has been 12 chapters of them punching each other and then shooting a beam. It's just a different, like, unique facet of their skill set every time. It's really cool. I always like it when a series can keep kind of monotonous stuff fresh like that. And of course, I'm just super hyped for Iori to pop back up next. Or apparently, Phantom Seer is on break next week, so not next week, but the week
No.
after. Iori is going to pop off, which I'm ready for. So I need some of that in my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think last week or maybe the week before we were complaining about how Iori has so far kind of been the win button, and yet it's so fucking hype seeing him wake
Yeah,
up.
I know. It's kind of a weird, like, catch-22, because, like, I am sitting here saying, oh, man, it does kind of suck that he basically just solos everyone, and everyone else is just kind of in the background. But then every time he's about to do it, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, this is going to be great. I need this.
Like the human part of your brain is like, oh no, but the narrative equilibrium of the character moments. But the lizard/monkey part of your brain is like, ooh, Iori Shadow Man, ooh.
Exactly, yeah. It's just my pure lizard brain. Like, yeah, I need more shadow sword thing. I need more shadow powers.
You go, violent Shikamaru.
Yeah, I'm banging the table with both hands, like, yes, Shadow
Like,
Man.
You're like from one of those like old Disney cartoons. Like you're banging on the table, your tongue rolls out. You're like whistling and hollering like a fucking dog from that one.
It's like the old Looney Tunes were like making the foghorn noises when my mouth opens, just seeing a Yori fight.
Oh my god, man! If we ever get like, if this podcast ever gets to the size where like there's people actually animating this shit, I'm so looking forward to that.
It's just gonna be clips of us slamming our monkey fists into the ground, and then the SpongeBob's alarm clock. It's just gonna be the sounds we're making.
There's just like a 20-second animatic of us gradually turning more into gorillas as Best Genius does like literally anything.
Have you seen any of the Dr. Stone season 2 anime?
Just like tangentially, but no, I haven't
Have you
gotten to
seen
watch
the
that yet.
ending credits?
No, why?
So the end credits is the song plays while like it shows a monkey walking and then progressively evolving into a person. The animation's gonna be just us talking and that happening backwards. It's just gonna start as a human and just slowly turn back into a monkey as we talk about Iori fighting.
You see, actually, it's like it'll start with us as humans, like talking about my hero and going like into all these details about like, oh, Endeavor and like the um the repercussions of his actions and its real life relevance. And then it gradually starts turning into monkey as we start going into Jujutsu Kaisen and we're just screaming raw.
Start talking about Gojo and Yuta, and it's just the monkey from Family Guy screaming and pointing at things.
like our My Hero discussions are just like, Socrates and Plato discussing philosophy, and their Jujutsu Kaisen discussions are like a couple of monkeys sitting in a circle dancing. One of them has Gojo's blindfold and his hair.
The other one's just depressed and it's got a katana.
We haven't even gotten to any of the big series yet, man.
I know. We're already off the head. We've only been going for 11 minutes.
This is what happens when we delay this shit.
I know. It's been building up for 2 extra days.
Yeah. We got anything more on Phantom Seer?
No, it's just Kino.
Yeah.
Swag, bro. Yeah. Textbook kidography. So next up is Undead Unluck.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest, this chapter was very much like eyes glaze over. Oh, they're fighting. Kind of.
Well, the problem is that a lot of time I agree that this chapter was like whatever. But like a lot of Undead Unluck fights are cool, and this one was not. There's almost nothing going on. And then they like swing the sword a couple times. And then Summon Skull shoots a beam into the ground and makes an avalanche. And now, like, Billy's not going to die because he's the only bad guy the whole series has. So I assume he's not going to randomly get killed away from our main characters. He's probably going to win. So I don't know. It just, there was nothing cool in the fights. Like, I find Andy's powers and like Rip's powers to be really cool and fun to watch, and like they can strategize and stuff with them in neat ways. This was just like I swung my sword twice and then a laser beam got shot, and now the fight is over.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because like you had Spoil and Burn kind of hashing it out, and that was like a cool little kaiju fight, but I don't know, like this one felt very much like it couldn't decide if it wanted to tell me things or if it wanted to like have me hype.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, I feel like Undead Unluck is always trying to tell me things. Like, I can't think of a single chapter where it hasn't just been like they're expositing about something. But at least when they're doing that, a lot of the times, like the chapter where they're basically eulogizing the mangaka character while they're having the cool fight, I thought they did a great job of balancing it out. This one, not so much. This one was like, I swung my sword twice, and then I let Summon Skull talk about God for a little bit, and then he shot a laser beam. And that's it.
Yeah, it's definitely not as polished of an encounter as I would have liked. But again, I just have to admit I couldn't really capture myself enough to pay full attention here. Like I keep saying this, Undead Unluck, as soon as I feel like it's hit like a satisfying cutoff point, I guess, for this current arc or this current event, I definitely need to reread this like properly, because I did a quick reread a couple of weeks ago, but even then I feel like I missed a couple of things. It's weird because it's like there's a lot of substance to it, but it's kind of hard to get to it.
Yeah, well, it seems like it always wants to meld the substance and the fluff a little bit. It's almost the opposite of the Elusive Samurai problem, where it's like, no, you will have only this exposition sandwich, and that's all you're getting. Undead Unluck likes to do both, but then a lot of the times I feel like I'm just looking for one or the other. And so when they're mashing them together like this, it almost makes it hard for me to concentrate on either one. Because when I'm sitting here like digging through all this exposition about God, I can't I can't really focus on the fight, which in this one it doesn't matter because there was barely a fight. But then like I can't appreciate the cool parts of the fight because I'm so caught up in these long explanations about shit. But then also I'm trying to read a fight, so I don't want to read this long explanation about God right now. It just feels weirdly paced. Like I feel like there are times in any kind of series where you should be able to just kind of sit back and enjoy some spectacle. And I feel like Undead Unluck doesn't like to let you do that. I feel like even with the spectacle on, it wants you to do your homework all the time. And that's need a break, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird approach that I don't know, because it's one of those things where I wonder if it will age better over time once like the series is over and you can kind of binge it.
Probably because I mean I also got to admit that like I often have to re-piece together from previous weeks exactly what all this shit means when they're done when they're going through it. And the long break time between chapters is definitely part of it.
Yeah, you know, there's just stories that don't work or approaches that don't work quite as well in the weekly format. And some people really see that as a negative. I personally kind of just like cope. Like, you know, right now, Undead Unluck seems a bit off to me because of that. But I feel like if it's fine on a binge, you know, that's the experience that will remain salient for the rest of eternity once the series is over. Right, like it's
right.
the
Yeah,
whole
I mean weekly, like we said before, weekly experience is a one-time only pass.
Yeah, exactly.
And then after that, technically, it is the only thing you can do is experience it via binge. So,
Unless you're weird and really just want to read one chapter a week.
I'm gonna replicate the old formula. I'm only reading one chapter a week, even though all 200 are available.
Yeah, I mean, I said this same thing on another podcast, and I got that reply like, well, actually, I can still repeat the weekly experience of Dragon It's like, yeah,
why would you want to do that?
Yeah, like you can. You're a massive weirdo if you do.
Yeah, as much as I think it's important to be enjoyable on a week-to-week basis because it's how you don't get canceled. I don't know of anyone that would say that reading it weekly is a better experience than reading it all at one time.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm gonna say I really wish I would have been around for certain arcs on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I
Just
think
to kind of
like
see.
well, because weekly reveal and stuff like that's something you can't replicate. You know, you can't especially with the advent of the internet and everything, you can't replicate like the weekly hype on a reread later. But from like a narrative standpoint, when it comes to like understanding the structure and immersing yourself in the story, more than 15 pages a week will definitely help you do that better.
Yeah, but I will say one of my favorite little notches in my manga head belt is the fact that I was reading Naruto Weekly when the Toby reveal dropped. I was reading Naruto Weekly when the war got announced, actually.
Yeah, I used to
Like,
read Naruto and Bleach weekly back when they came out off those shitty websites where you had to download the zip folder that had the translated chapter in it.
oh no, I never had to do that. I just found like shitty German translated manga websites that already hosted them, like just for scrolling.
Oh yeah, I had to go. Well, I would always do it on my school laptop, so I had to go to like the ones that weren't blocked already by my school's
Oh.
internet like blocks, and they were always like, "Oh yeah, here's the file," and you'd have to get the file and then pull the scans out of the like .rar file that had the translations in them, and they were always the edgelord translations, like the "What the fuck are you doing, Eisen?" translations, but. It was an experience, let me tell you.
Oh man, I imagine. I mean, Grimjaw with a
Yeah,
bit of extra
with
edge.
edgelord scans, that was something. Not quite as edgy as that one Bakugo scan, where he just says fuck like 37 times.
Yeah, the
And then
one
he
that
calls
even.
someone an ass rag.
Yeah, like did you? I think you saw that probably. Like the guy who left a bad Amazon
Yeah, he
review
left
on the
a bad review because he said it was the censored version.
Yeah,
because he's reading edgy fan scans.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, those are the like proper damages that the fan scans do, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think
You
people
know.
realize that like Not only does it not, I see some people say stuff like, oh, it makes it feel more real because that's how people really talk. And I'm like, yeah, I guess people do curse, but also nobody says fuck you fucking ass rag, fuck. Like nobody does that.
Yeah, that's the
And
idea of like a teenager of
right,
how
and
people
even
talk.
even like teenagers, I would hope don't do that. And like, I don't see how it enhances the experience for anyone. It just makes it kind of cringy. Like, it just makes it weird.
Yeah, because like teenagers swear. I swear, but like no one swears that much that consistently. When people go like on big tirades, it's because they're angry or because they're trying to make a point. I don't believe anyone talks the way Bakugo talks in the fan
No,
scans.
God no. Yeah, like even I was reading the like epilogue of Kuroko's basketball where they did like the one extra thing where they fight against the American basketball team, and
Okay.
every single line out of the characters' mouths was like bitch, fuck, ah, ass. I'm sick of this shit.
Hmm.
And I'm like, this is not, they didn't cuss a single time in the in the regular series. There's no way that all of these high school kids are like, what'd you say to me, bitch? I'll fuck you up right here. I'm like, come on, man. It's just
Yeah,
weird, and like it's not like I'm not like saying it from a puritanical perspective because as you can tell I cuss all the time, but like
mhm.
I don't know, it just feels unnatural and like clunky. Like there was a while there where I would cuss just as like not even thinking about it, like as sentence filler,
Mhm.
but still I didn't cuss as much as these people do.
Yeah, and I mean, you also need to look at it from like a translator perspective, because at that point, you are, even if you're a fan translator, you are essentially trying to write a text that is to be read by others, using your command of the English language. And a command of the English language that requires incessant use of cussing is no command at all. Like, swearing is one of those things where that you should use when you need to or when you feel like it, and you know that you can get away with it, but not just as a filler. I feel like that's the big difference between, well, kids and adults, and also like comfortable English speaking people, right? Because like
Hmm.
you also notice that like around a lot of like bilingual people, because obviously English isn't a main language here where I live. And you'll notice that a lot of people who have like a relatively limited English will often like swear similarly to Bakugo, actually, because it's like that's the words they know, because it's the one that's the cool people use online. It's like, yeah, you can do that, but it's kind of embarrassing, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I don't know, it just feels weird. I don't
Yeah.
particularly yeah, it's not like a puritanical thing. It's just almost like it's trying too hard. You're trying too hard
Hmm.
to be cool, and what you like think conveys what is cool, and it's not, and it's just awkward and weird.
Yeah, actually, speaking of swearing, I do have one funny anecdote, which is that the German dub of Jujutsu Kaisen is out, and for some reason they decided that Sukuna swears, but he doesn't swear in German. He swears in English specifically. So he keeps saying "fuck" in English.
Yes, amazing. What excellent direction.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's actually interesting because that's, to my knowledge, the first German dub that really takes like the modern German linguistic evolution into account. Because German has taken a lot from English in the last in the last decade or so. Not so much Swiss German here. We have stolen everything from like Yugoslavian, from like Albanian and Serbian, because there's just a huge population of them here. But I think in Germany they've really started adapting like English phrases into their vocabulary, which is interesting and cool.
Yeah, I like
Uh,
that. That's an interesting little tidbit of information.
yeah, I mean, swearing here, as in Switzerland, is very normalized though. We actually legitimately just use the word whore as a substitute for very. So something can be whore good, and that means it's very good.
Well, whore is like not really a English swear. It's just like a mean thing to say.
Well, yeah, but like in our language, in Swiss German, it is still it's I suppose it's more comparable to bitch, but it's
I
like
think even in English, bitch has effectively become normalized to the point of not really mattering.
okay, I
I
guess.
think the naughty version in English is the quote unquote C word. I think that's the
Oh
one. I
yeah.
think that's the one that people still get mad about.
Oh, I see, I see. Yeah, I remember we couldn't we that was one of the big no-no words when I studied for my English certificate in Cambridge, which was yeah, it was a C word, which was like, we just kind of accepted that. The N word, which like of course, obviously. And then there were like three others that I don't remember. But yeah, like we have a weird state of the language here. Like, I don't know if I've told you this before, but we've adapted the English word easy into Swiss German, but it doesn't mean easy, it also just means very. So you can it's actually a very common thing to say here that something was easy difficult. As in it was very difficult.
I guess that makes sense from like a slang because you could say it was like easily difficult, like it was so difficult that there's no question.
Yeah,
I guess I
exactly
could
that.
see that as like a slang term. It does sound
Yeah,
funny though.
it does sound funny. Another thing is that we keep saying safe as like the way you and me say bet and word
Hmm.
in here in Swiss German we just say safe to everything.
I need to move out there. My slang talents will be unmatched.
Oh God. Uh, if you want, I'll talk to you in Swiss German sometime, maybe this episode, and you get to decide if you want to hear that like day in day out because it's a god ugly language.
Okay, deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Like
God.
because anyway, where were we at?
I'm guessing we're done talking about Undead Unluck, all things considered.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God.
That what happened?
I just sneezed really loud.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you. I blame Swiss German for that. So next up is Witch Watch.
Cute. I wish the series was going somewhere.
I thought this chapter was pretty cute. This is like my weakness, where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, he actually is kind of flirting with her, but not really, but kind of. That's
Mm-hmm.
like my if I have to want like read romance stuff, that's what I'm going for. I want the like accidental gratification trope. I'm all about that.
Yeah, I mean it was cute. That definitely.
Yeah,
And it
I
gave
do
me the
think it's about
fuzzies.
time that we at least get a premise because right now we don't even
Mm-hmm.
really have that anymore. We just have like they live together.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, maybe this will just be a series that doesn't really have a goal. It'll just be them being really cute until chapter 200 where they kiss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's just, I think I've talked about this in the last couple episodes. I do think this series has potential. So I'd be kind of disappointed if all we ever got was just, weekly checkup cuteness, which, I don't mind. I guess I just would like to see a bit more, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's just weird because a lot of people always say you guys are too harsh because it's only chapter like it's barely started, and I agree that it means on chapter 6, right? Like, but it's just weird
Mm-hmm.
to not even have like really an idea of what we're here for. Because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
other than, oh, she's moving in, I guess, I forget even the reason why she had to move in with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because he's like her guardian or whatever, but like from what? What's happening?
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's the thing, right? I'm up for more of this as long as there is like some sort of background thing happening that moves it into an actual direction, right? Because like so far it's very much just, hey, another week, let's check up on the couple. But cute,
Yeah,
but give me something more.
yeah, I mean, I can live with it if it's just cuteness, because sometimes you just need that serotonin, but I liked the like cause and effect they set up for the magic system the first time they used it, where when you get a spell cast on you, you have that blowback period afterward, where the
Mm-hmm.
basically the opposite thing happens to you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then they kind of abandoned that, and I was like, oh, like I wanted there to be some blowback from her making herself large, where she had to be like tiny for a chapter or something, or the one where she makes
Yeah.
everyone fly. and then the blowback is like they're super heavy or something like that, and they have to cope with that. That would be interesting, but I'm okay with it what it's doing now. But I do agree there was a lot of like the magic system has potential to be really cool.
Yeah, and it's like, they blue balled me with the fucking big girl and then didn't follow up on that. So I don't know if I'll ever recover. Like I don't know how much serotonin they can really give me, because if anyone who knows me, I fucking hate being happy. Fucking miserable
All
anime
misery
man.
all the time.
Yeah, I come on here literally just to shit on everything. Everything's a 1 out of 10. Except Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, you can't shit on Jujutsu Kaisen. There's
No,
limits. There's
yeah,
limits.
exactly. Yes. The only one who's limitless is Gojo. God, I haven't made that fucking wheeze in a while. That actually like, hurt my lungs.
All right, so Witch Watch, cute out of 10.
Yes.
Next up is the Elusive Samurai. I actually kind of like this chapter. It's one of the best ones for sure. I like the joke where the priest was like, "Oh Jesus, people are gonna read this and think it's animal cruelty. I promise, it's just period appropriate. Don't get mad at me." I thought that was fun. That's quality humor. But I'm a little disappointed that we're apparently going to dispatch with this bad guy soon. I was kind of hoping we were gonna get a little period of like the kid being sneaky, because that's what they said we were gonna get. But now he's just like, "All right, go win." Go win now.
Basically.
At one chapter later, please go win.
Yeah, it is a bit unfortunate that seems to be the direction it's going in. But I do agree this chapter was fun. Like, I think I said it last week as well. I like how much use the author gets out of the creepy guy's eyes. Like, every single panel he's in, he's doing something with his eyes. And
with something gross with his eyes, yeah.
Yeah. He's listening. He's like whispering into the guy's ear
with his eye. Yeah, with his eye all out.
So stupid, but I love it. It's so fun. Also, I didn't know that dog shooting existed. So I mean, I guess thanks for telling me.
Yeah, now I know that Japanese people used to shoot dogs with blunt arrows.
I mean, hey, that's history. That's cool. I'm learning. I've been out of school for like 4 years, but hey, thank you, Elusive Samurai.
Learn something every day. That's how you keep a healthy brain, or so they say.
That explains a lot.
No, but it was pretty good. I hope their competition is good, because the last time that the series had like a really awesome chapter, granted it's only chapter 8, but still, the only time it's been more than a meh for me was the fight against the uncle, the douche uncle. So I'm hoping we get a little bit of that energy here too, because that chapter was actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, I definitely hope that this next fight can keep it up, but I do hope we don't dispatch of the guy yet, because it is like they promised me like some cool sneaky training arc action, and
I definitely agree. It would be a letdown if they were like, you have to sneakily observe him and learn, and then there's like, okay, kill him in the next chapter.
Like next day, like not even 24 hours have passed. They're like, okay, I need you to sneakily murder him.
Kill him right now.
Drop him. The gods demand that you run his fade. Kill the motherfucker.
I don't know. I could see them losing, because maybe this sets up the training arc. Because he says, if you lose, we get to search the entire territory and you can't get in our way. And maybe it'll be what happens. Like, he'll learn the new skill that the guy says he's going to learn, but then they'll still lose, and then he'll have to sneakily like be around this guy doing awful raid things until he gets good enough to stop him from doing it. I could see that. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, that could be. But I suppose there's nothing left to do but to watch, because this series just seems really weird to try and predict, because it is a lot of talking and then a lot of anyway, we're doing this now.
Yeah,
Um,
it is a little bit. I mean, chapter 8, but
yeah, of
it
course, of
it,
course.
it definitely changes up the tempo in weird ways, but
Yeah, but obviously with these short series, everything we say is always with the perspective of they're young. But
right.
like, y'all gotta realize that we can't just sit here and be like, that this was the 8th chapter of Samurai 8. I have no opinions on it yet.
I cannot have an opinion on it yet, therefore we will move on. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Like just the lightning round Shonen Chill is like, this series had a chapter. It was 15 pages long. Bye.
Okay, see ya. And then that's it.
Yeah. We should do like an objective Shonen Chill episode, and all we do is we just list objective things about the series. Like, My Hero Academia is a shonen battle manga released in 2014 and still ongoing by Koei Horikoshi.
This
Bye.
week's chapter was chapter 305. The main character, Izuku Midoriya, was in the chapter. All right, everybody. See you next time.
Like really low effort weekly reviews. Like, hello guys, welcome to my weekly review of My Hero Academia chapter 305. This was certainly a My Hero Academia chapter, and Deku was certainly in it. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today, guys. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell. Analytics say that only not even half of you are subscribed, so make sure to do that. Bye.
All right. Well, that's enough for the Elusive Samurai. Clearly.
Yes.
So that would make, I think, by tally of the votes, that would put us into the top 3, which would be Mashle next.
I fucking love Mashle.
Me too. It's so good. It's so good all the time.
God, the fucking page turn at the end where he's like, you want to know real pain? I'll show you, in like his dumb goofy face, and the next page is just him cracking the guy's skull
with the tennis racket. It's so good. And the best part is when he hits him with the tennis racket, he's drawn with like the anime style, not the goofy style.
Yeah. It's so good. But yeah, like this was a really cool conclusion to the fight. And in general, the conclusion to the chapter was also really sweet. Like anytime Mashle actually talks to his friends, I'm just so ready to get emotional, even though all he says is like generic shonen stuff. But because it's Mash, I'm listening. My heart's open, my man.
Yeah, Mash is a good character to just like give you basic cuteness, but it hits because of who he is. He beats the opponent with tennis. He hits with he tennises. I don't even. What is he hitting into him?
The crack.
No. What is he hitting as a tennis ball?
Oh, I don't know. Just the ball he has, I guess.
It just looks like something wrapped up in paper. I don't know if it was something we were supposed to recognize, but he just starts smacking it with the tennis racket and he kills it.
It's like it's just like a cream puff wrapped in toilet paper that he just keeps around. Because he does keep having like a bunch of cream puffs show up out of nowhere.
That is true. He always keeps them on his person.
Yeah, always armed and ready.
Also, I really love the panel of the bad guy's eye, where you just see a low detail Mash in his eye getting ready to hit him with the tennis racket.
Yeah, it's like for as goofy as Mashle as a series looks, it's like incredibly artistically competent. It's genuinely impressive. Like just the flow, you mentioned it, between goofy Mash and anime Mash is just so on point every time. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, he always plays that like opposite style thing. Again, it's very One Punch Man-esque, but he does it a lot more often. And it always plays out well. Like when he's sculpting the tennis racket, and then the wham shot of him with the racket is goofy looking Mash instead of anime Mash. It's so good.
Yeah. But yeah, like this was very much just the chapter to wrap up the fight, which I'm cool with. Like it was fun, gave me some cool action, gave me some awesome like spreads and panels, so I'm satisfied.
Yeah, the panel where he is hitting the tennis ball, like when they're narrating what he's doing, and he's smacking it into the monster nurse's face is actually like a really cool panel if you just sit and look at it for a minute, because it's got the big syringe coming in from the side, and it's like, it's cool. All of it is cool. The spread where he's dodging all the syringes and returning all the volleys at the same time, it's fucking great looking.
Just a artistically great series, and it seems like we're getting into the territory where we're getting more fights and more like fight choreography as well. So yeah, like I'm ready for Mashle to really kick it into high gear.
Yeah, Mashle's one of those series where I'm always ready to start getting disappointed by it because it's like a comedy series. And I'm not only am I never disappointed with the jokes, but it seems like it has figured out the exact right timing to be like, it's time to start shonening and not joking as much. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it has a really strong grasp because like we're 50 chapters in, and the basic joke of Mash is strong has not gotten old yet. I think that's the
it's
best
still
way to
funny.
describe it.
I think it's great because maybe it's just because they do it in different ways every time. Like it's not just he punches dude and wins every time. Because like this time he sculpted a tennis racket out of a rod of iron with his bare hands. It's just, and it's like so absurd. It's funny. It's almost the inverse of like the One Punch Man where Saitama will get blasted by like, Super Saiyan God Goku, and the joke is that it didn't hurt him at all. This is like the opposite, where he's just doing outrageous shit. Like, why is he sculpting a tennis racket with his bare hands? Why is that what he thinks of to win the fight?
Because he can, and because he should. That's it. All right. Anything else on Mashle?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Big cheese time?
Well, technically, the next one on the list would be, based on vote placement, would be Dr. Stone. You do not read that, but so just real quick, for anyone who does read it, I feel your pain, and I'm sorry that you're suffering this much, because it's just agony every week.
Okay.
Everybody getting shot. Everybody getting shot. Ryusui takes a solid shot to the gut. They send these two girl characters away, and they're like, okay, we need you to get out of there so that you don't get hit when we stone blast the whole island. That way you can save us. And they're like, okay. And then they start crying right at the last second. And she's like, yeah, they didn't send us away because of that. They sent us away because they know that we can't fight, and they're expecting to lose, and they're probably going to die for real, and they don't want us to get killed. And then all you hear is like gunshots and bombs out the ass. Everybody gets shot. Ryusui gets blasted. Taiju gets blown up by a grenade. Yeah. I don't think we see Gen get hit, but he's right next to Taiju's exploded body, like trying to tend to him. Yeah, it's bad.
What the fuck happened to Dr. Stone, man?
It's bad, man. Everything's bad right now. Yeah, Ryusui gets shot in the heart. Senku tackles Kaseki out of the way of a giant grenade explosion, but then all of the stuff that they made to counterattack with got burned up by the grenade. So I don't know what the fuck is going to happen, but it's just agony. It's just agony every week. The chapter starts by looking at Kohaku bleeding out on the ground.
Nice.
It's just it's not good, man. We went from real silly fun science adventure to everyone's dying.
Like, can you imagine people opening up Shonen Jump in the last couple of weeks and like, my favorite kids magazine, Dr. Stone, everyone's dying.
Everyone's getting brutally shot.
Yeah, My Hero, abuse. Jujutsu Kaisen, people getting stabbed and people losing arms. It's like, man, this sure is a cheerful child's magazine.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. But yeah, we won't dwell on Dr. Stone too much because you do not read it. So we'll shift into My Hero Academia time.
Okay. Do I go?
You can go. Yeah, I feel like this is your territory.
Okay. So when I first heard what this chapter was about, I was like, oh no. Oh no. Hori has done it. Hori has pulled the trigger on something really goofy and stupid. That being that Deku wants to forgive Shigaraki. But actually, now that I've read the chapter multiple times and I've gone over the text, that's kind of not what happens, and I'm happy for it. Because Deku's answer to the question, can you kill Tomura Shigaraki, isn't, no, I will save him. But it's rather, if I have to, I will kill him, but I want to know that I've tried everything to not let that happen. Which, honestly, it is in line with his character, and it is in line with what the story has established so far. And the way it's presented is pretty cute, so I'm not too miffed about it. I just need it to be challenged a bit more, especially once he gets back into the real world. With people actually telling him, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Shigaraki has, like, killed a gazillion people. I will say, I do think it's very weird that the immortal Force ghosts are all on board with that, pretty much, except the two odd ones
Yeah,
out.
the way they phrased it also kind of bothered me. Like, I don't really mind the. I mean, it's super tropey and dumb, but like it's a kids manga, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that the conversation happens feels clunky, because they're
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, we know that you want to save him, but we can feel that, but we don't think it's like that. We think that you gotta kill him. And then he's like, I don't. And then they're like, just kidding. We're just testing you. But like, were you? Because the All Might Force Ghost or whatever the fuck that is, All Might from the Yu-Gi-Oh movie, is like
Mm-hmm.
weeping when Deku says
Mm-hmm.
it. So it's like, what? Were you testing him or not? What is this supposed to be?
Yeah,
Because it came
it's
off
really
like
weird.
Deku was changing their minds and
Mm-hmm.
saying like, I think that you might be right, but at the same time, I don't want to do that. And I think I would
Mm-hmm.
have preferred it more had it gone that way. I don't think I love that all the Force Ghosts are like, great, we were testing you like that, and now we know that you're great. But it's like, shut up, idiot.
Mm-hmm.
You were already talking about how great he was before. I don't buy you that whole thing was like, all right, if he agrees to kill him, that's it. We're taking the power. We're sucking it out of him right here. Like,
Deku, you have to kill Shigaraki. Will you do it? Yes. Wrong answer,
wrong
kiddo.
answer, idiot. Get out of here. I don't know. It just feels weird that, like, if you have all this faith in him and you think he's awesome, why are you sobbing when he gives you the answer you want? I
I
think I
mean,
would
I
have
think.
much preferred it had they all been like, it sucks, but we have to do it. We have to kill him. And Deku's like, I really don't want to. And then they're like, okay. Like, you're the kid with the power. It's your call to make, and we're going to have faith in your decision. I don't like the silly ass, like, we got you, kiddo. You did it. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, because that's specifically the thing we mentioned last week, actually, that we don't want to happen.
Yeah, like, I it kind of sucks because, again, I'm going to play into the trope a little bit of, like, My Hero Academia sucks unless it's the Todorokis or whatever, but, like, that topic is handled in such a mature way where, like, everything is kind of, every alternative is, like, discussed and kind of considered, and everyone gets a chance to say their piece. So it feels
Mm-hmm.
off when it gets this tropey. Like,
Mm-hmm.
had it been that all of these old people, these fucking boomer ghosts, were like, no, this is the way it has to be. And then the idealistic kid, because then it would kind of harken back to like chapter 1, right? Where All Might had basically given up. But then
Mm-hmm.
Deku was like, inspired him to be better and to pass his power on and stuff. So, like, if they had just taken out the stupid test stuff, and, because then there's the panel right after that, like, All Might and Nana are sobbing. And it
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, were you committed to killing him or not? Because if you weren't going to let him fight unless he passed your test or whatever, why are you sobbing that he gave you the answer that you wanted?
Yeah, it's weird because it almost feels like the story doesn't want to challenge Deku, like, thematically too much. Where it's like, when he decides that he has to save Shigaraki, the like semi-omniscient Force Ghosts are like, yes, that is the right answer, even though, like, realistically they shouldn't be. So yeah, like, that part definitely feels iffy to me. But
And
honestly, aside from that, I didn't mind it.
yeah, I think it's fine. It's just that, like, again, I wish it was handled in a bit more mature of a way. Like, I think it's fine if the Force Ghosts have his back, because they should. Because what? You don't have any fucking input here. Shut up, fucking ghosts. Like, they should be like, if that's the decision you want to make, that's okay. But one, I would have liked it had the series at least said that, like, if that's the wrong decision, if bad things come of it, that is on you, and you need to be aware of it. And he still says that's fine. Like, this is still something that can be talked about in a mature way. It's sort of like the discussion of, is a criminal ever too far gone to be at least heard out and, like, given a chance to speak, So for them to take it in, like, the tropiest baby way possible kind of irritated me. Like,
yeah.
And I think it's because it was so close to being exactly what I would have been, like, A-okay with, that it irritates me the most. Because it's like 95% of the way there. If you just change the way the chapter ends, I'm, like, applauding. But now I'm like, you fucking dweebs.
Yeah. But I will say I do really like Deku's answer. After rereading it, I do think...
Yeah, it is a lot better than, I'm gonna save him, like, I did like his little moment of hesitation where it was like, I want to save him, and I have and it was nice to call back to, like, Gentle and stuff, where it was like, because Gentle was his first real experience with a criminal who, like, wasn't the biggest piece of shit ever, like, torturing little girls and stuff, evil.
Yeah.
And it was nice for him to harken back to that a little bit and be like, I don't view it as black and white like that anymore. There's a lot of gray out there, and I understand that the original goal was to kill him, but I feel like it doesn't have to be that way, and maybe I'm wrong. Like, that is a mature telling of it. I just think they dropped, like, Deku I think was great. I just think they dropped the ball at the end with Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think his answer sucked. But Deku's whole little speech was pretty great. And I like that he said that, he didn't pull I want to call this a Naruto, and I don't actually know if Naruto ever did this, so maybe I'm wrong to do that. So sorry, Naruto fans, if I'm slandering him inappropriately. But
if we're slandering Naruto, it's just another week on Shonen.
That's true.
Let's be real.
I feel like the part where Deku says, maybe there really is no other way besides killing him, and honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is what I want to do, is a pretty mature way to handle the topic. And I feel like Naruto would have just been like, no, I'm only saving him. Get away, everybody get away from Sasuke. I'm saving him. Back off. Like, had Naruto at some point even remotely leaned into, like, hey, your buddy is a terrorist who's killed so many people, then, had he at least been like, I want to give him a chance, but, I understand that he did awful stuff, instead of breaking down and sobbing in the snow. Like, this feels like a more mature evolution of that, but,
I cannot believe Kishimoto keeps catching strays on this show. It's actually amazing. Like, we'll be talking about the most disconnected shit possible, and he'll just randomly get a hit.
I can't help it, man. I can't help it. This is what happens when you write the, like, third most popular manga ever, and it's kind of mid most of the time.
I wish every Masashi Kishimoto a very go away.
No, I mean, I love early Naruto. I just don't like Naruto's relationship with Sasuke and how it seems to defy any form of logic at all. And, like, because this is a similar thing, because Shigaraki objectively has no leg to stand on of, like, you should be helped. It's just he's a horrible monster man who just murders the shit out of everybody all the time because he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And so, Deku being the idealist and saying, like, I want to, even if I can't save him, I want to ease that pain that I felt. Because even if he did wrong, he's still hurting. And even if he has to be brought down, I don't want him to, I don't want him to be hurting. I want to save everyone, no matter what. But I accept that there's a chance it won't happen, but ultimately this is what I want. It's just, he handled it in a more grown-up way than the Force Ghosts did.
Yeah. Which is weird, because I was expecting it to be the opposite. I was expecting to hate Deku's answer. And
me too, yeah. I was expecting to come into this and have him give some bullshit speech of, like, I'm going to save everyone, even the bad guys, I'm gonna make the utopia, heroic utopia of like everyone gets helped, and I'm like, this is gonna be dumb. But he actually handled it in a really actually. This chapter is a 0 out of 10 because Gran Torino is still alive. Fuck that little midget. He's get out of here.
I fucking hate how offhandedly they mention that he's alive. Because I mean, technically
FYI,
we
we're
know.
ruining the chapter because Gran Torino is still alive.
Yeah.
Why do you even know that, you fucking Force Ghost? Deku doesn't know that.
But I will say, I am happy that this chapter further like keeps Bakugo from happening.
Bakujo down there in the corner.
Yeah, because like now we know that the reason they've been like hidden is not just ooh, who could it be, but it actually has a diegetic reason, which is that they don't seem to acknowledge Deku, or they don't want to help him. Which, like, realistically, I can't imagine that to be Bakugo at this point anymore. Because like Bakugo already now at 16 years old seems to be, you know, loud but generally accepting of Deku and his
Yeah,
like,
they're more
endeavors.
like vitriolic buddies now than actual enemies.
Yeah, and like that is an adult Bakugo if it were a Bakugo. And
Yeah, I don't think it's Bakugo, but I do think there's still some merit in. I don't want to reveal myself to him because then if I do, I have to reveal whatever horrible future caused me to come back with orange hair. But I think it's just Ichigo. That's all it is.
He's just like, sup?
He's just
Kubo
like,
said
yeah,
you need some help.
yeah. Kubo said that your manga was getting bogged down in this exposition, so I'm here to inject some Kino into this real quick.
The third user is just Shikamaru because of the ponytail.
Just
He's
dyed
like,
his
sorry,
hair.
Naruto couldn't come. He's busy hating his life.
He's too busy being tied down into a shitty office job.
Yeah, he sent me. But I mean, it seems like we're gonna get at least some information on them next week, which is actually really exciting. Because A, God, that theory just needs to die. And B, I'm interested to see what's up with them. Like why they seem to be like the odd ones out.
Well, the one on the left sure looks like an edgy boy because he's got the white eyes. He's got the edge boy eyes.
Yeah.
So maybe
He
he's
also has
like, you're a
engines.
little cotton candy baby. I don't want you to get my power. But also, they're like the second and third ones. So why would the third one have passed it on to a nice boy if he was in? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, because I saw some people say that the third has like engines in his costume.
Yeah, he's got the little
And
shoulder engines right there.
yeah, and Ida does mention that the Ida family is renowned because they've been heroes since forever, and all of them somehow have managed to retain the engine quirk. So it could be interesting. Like, I mean, you know, I don't think there'll be any significance to it if it's an Ida family member,
Yeah,
aside from
Ida
it's
has long
cool.
since been ejected from the series. This man went from I'm part of your main trio to I might get a panel.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, it could be cool. It's like, you know, it's like finding out in Naruto that Nagato is an Uzumaki. Like, it doesn't mean anything, but it's cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hmm. Also, I think the funniest thing that happened this week regarding this chapter is I saw a couple of people be like, "Oh, so Deku knew Shigaraki when they were children," and I'm like, "What? No,
No, what?
they're
What?
7 years apart."
Why would
Like,
he
how does
know?
that
Why would he
work?
have known them when they're? Is it just because he saw the little? Because he's looking at the little
Yes,
kid?
yes.
No,
Apparently,
that's
that
dumb.
was proof enough for some people. It's like
Symbolism,
Shigaraki.
friends.
Shigaraki is 20. Shigaraki is a grown man. You don't think it, but he's a grown man.
Yeah, it's not. It literally. It's just symbolism is not hard, y'all. For the love of God.
I mean, it very much is for this reader base, I think.
That's fair. But
Yeah.
look, there's a kid Deku right next to him, so obviously.
Obviously. Yeah, as I said, I think my biggest point of curiosity right now is I want to know why they disapprove of Deku. Is it because he has is it because they're like from the older generation and Deku has a frog friend and they're like, my boy Alex said that they turn us gay?
Are these the conservatives of it? They don't
like,
want to give one for all to liberal woke culture.
They're shadowed out because out of all the out, out of all the One for All users, they're the only ones that are like fiercely conservative.
Well,
They're like,
they're banned on social media, and Parler got taken down, so they can't talk to Deku right now.
That's why they're shadowed.
That's why they're shadowed out. Yeah, they can't. They're banned.
The second is like, Deku, I don't like you because you hang out with Aoyama and he's gay. And then the third is like, I don't like you because you hang out with Aoyama, not because he's gay, but because he's French. So we have like the entire thing. What the fuck is a voulez-vous? Voulez-vous meet my fist, motherfucker? I can't talk too loudly because my girlfriend practices French every night before going to bed.
Oh
so
God! Don't let her. Don't let her hear you.
She probably does. Hi, babe. Okay, but yeah, I think that's good for My Hero.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, I don't have too much else to say about it, but it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah, like
fine out of
Deku,
10.
Yeah, like the sequence of Deku turning back into a child is very cute. Like that entire sequence is well executed and cute. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was less Mickey Mouse than I expected, so that's good.
Yeah, it was much less baby bullshit. It ended on some baby bullshit, but Deku wasn't the baby bullshit, which is what I was expecting, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not. We're not in. I keep seeing people call it like the Mickey Mouse arc with the Mickey Mouse consequences. And I just love that expression so much.
I could see it.
Anyway, we've got the big general to talk about.
Yes,
the big
Jujutsu Kaisen time, baby, the best time. This chapter fucking popped. Fuck Naoya, I hate that guy. Choso's such a badass.
I did not expect Choso to become one of my favorites.
Choso's so cool all of a sudden, dude. I like. Actually, his fight with Yuji was pretty raw. Also, that was a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
But
yeah, his speech about brotherhood is so cool, and I saw a lot of people say how it resonated with them, and I definitely agree because I'm a big brother, and I think you're too, right?
I am as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So like his whole speech about as the older sibling, it doesn't matter what you do because everything you do is a lesson to your younger siblings, and it is not just your privilege to do so, but your responsibility. Like I was like, fuck yeah, man, that's cool. That's a very cool thing to inject into your story about sorcerers and magic.
Yeah, it's a cool little overarching theme. I don't know. Choso is somehow the most wholesome character in the show, in the series, despite being like a bad guy for a decent amount of it. He's just like, oh, Choso.
Yeah, he's just cool.
Yeah, and also Naoya blows, and I hate him. So I like his plan was like, haha, I stabbed you. Now you have to focus all your cursed energy on not bleeding out instead of fighting me. And then Choso was like, nah. It's just a tsunami of blood. anytime a character I don't like digs their own grave, I find it funny. So fuck Naoya.
Yeah, I really think I'm a bit disappointed because it is starting to seem like Naoya is not going to last very long, just in the way he's being like shown and described.
Yeah, he's getting kind of dismantled by Choso, and then now even Yuta's like, oh, looks like you suck, bro. Looks like you're trash.
Yuta just arrives to tell Naoya that he fucking stinks.
Hey, I came back to check on you because it seems like you're garbage.
But I'm gonna say Naoya is really cool to hate because he's like everything. He's arrogant. He's mean. He's a misogynist. He's just perfect.
Yeah, he's got like a hateable face. Like, look at his face. Like, what an asshole.
Yeah, and he's like, ha ha ha. I use knives. Don't tell my brothers because I'm so vain. And Choso's like, but your brotherhood is a gift given to us, and we should cherish it. And Naoya's like, what the fuck are you talking about, weirdo?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just here to stab you.
I'm just here to fucking cut you. And it's just the look on his face is funny when the giant thing of blood just starts hurling down. And he's like, oh god. And then he starts controlling the blood on his clothes. It's fucking great.
Yeah,
I do hope that
like
Naoya sticks around though, because he almost reminds me of like, I don't like him, and he's an asshole, and I hate him. But I would like him to be around to be hated. Like I could see him being that like token assist character for the good guys that I also kind of hate. That he could like show up and contribute, and I'd be like, ah, fuck you, but that was pretty cool.
he just comes up, sees like Maki or Nobara, who's clearly fine, and he looks him
She's
up and down.
fine,
He's
yeah,
like,
perfectly fine.
yeah, she's fine. He looks him up and down. He's like, ew, still a woman, huh? And like leaves. Like the fact that his introduction is him literally saying women who don't walk 3 steps behind their man should just die. It's somehow the most outrageous thing about him.
His literal like first line of dialogue is like, women deserve less. And then he high-fived Davi, and then the chapter started.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, I mean, didn't that drop in the same
I
week
think so.
as
It was either the same week or really close to it. It was like a week off if it wasn't the same week. It was so funny.
Yeah, it definitely is just wonderful.
Yeah, I think it's because I think part of the reason that I can hate him and like still be like, I like him is because he's so like over the top. Like it's comical how hateable he is, because who does that? Like the very first thing he says is like, yeah, women do be fucking useless though. Anyway, like it's so fucking.
Yeah, it's so outrageous, but it's also
it's so absurd that it goes away from being like offensive, and it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, and I mean, like even if it weren't funny, like he's clearly an asshole. Like Gege is not trying to tell us, oh yeah, listen to this guy.
He's clearly intended to be viewed as a giant piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, actually, you know what? You could probably make a pretty cool feminist reading on Jujutsu Kaisen, because like I remember back, like both Nobara and Maki have like an extensive monologue at some point about how female sorcerers are treated and whatnot. Like if you were to reread the series under that specific lens, I'm sure you could extract something interesting out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. I like the way generally that women are handled in Jujutsu. I mean, I'm not a woman, so I don't have like final say on that or anything, but I think he does a good job.
Yeah, like I mean, I started Jujutsu Kaisen with the girlfriend the other day, and she was like, "Oh, Nobara is annoying," and I'm like, "But she's so strong, though," and she's like, "Yeah." So that's good. I cannot believe she hates Gojo, dude.
What? Okay, yeah, she's not allowed to keep watching. Revoke the pass. The pass is gone.
No, I'm starting to wonder if I'm dating Gege Akutami, actually.
Because Akutami's the only human being alive who hates Gojo.
Yeah, like comically hates Gojo. I think one of my favorite author comments from Gege is still the one from the chapter where Gojo gets sealed, and they're like, "Ah, yes, 2020 starts with Gojo getting the fuck out of here. What a great start to the year."
That was he says Gojo's finally gone. 2020's looking up. I was like, bro, no. Why are you like this?
Something Gojo doesn't have. Probably a personality.
Yeah, a personality. He's such a dick to the. It's so funny though, just imagining him like writing Gojo doing shit, and the entire fan base is like losing their mind, and he's just sitting there like the Grinch on top of the mountain, like, they like him so much still.
I just know he's swinging at air when he gets another request for another Gojo figurine and merch for the anime.
Every time Gojo trends on Twitter, he opens his phone and he's like, damn it! Banging his hands on the table. Why? I try to make him such a jerk and everyone loves him.
He has like a priv account where he just subtweets Gojo.
He's got a private Twitter and he's like, as a Jujutsu Kaisen fan, I don't see what the big deal is about Satoru Gojo. Don't you think he's kind of a jerk? Nobody should like this guy.
Oh, dude. Like, the way people find out about, like, mangakas' Twitter accounts is also so interesting. Like, do, do you follow Fujimoto
I
on
do
Twitter?
not. I didn't even know he had a
Yeah,
Twitter.
yeah, he has a Twitter, but it's the weirdest thing because he has a Twitter, but he pretends to be his sister,
What
but he doesn't have a sister.
the fuck?
It's so funny.
What
Yeah,
the fuck? Why?
I don't know. It's Fujimoto. Like, I don't understand, but I suppose it is in character.
Every time Fujimoto does anything, I'm like, man, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and then there's things like where people frantically search for like a priv account of like the Attack on Titan author. People keep being like, "Ah, this is his account," and it retweeted like problematic shit. Take
Oh,
him down.
Jesus.
It's like, no, that's just an account that speaks Japanese and has an Attack on Titan profile picture.
Yeah, if the author's trying to hide his account from you, I doubt that his shit is fucking his own series.
Yeah, like literally the account that most people try to say is like Isayama's, the author's account. The big reasoning behind it is in 2017, that account tweeted about going to the movies at the same time when Isayama's official blog announced that he was going to the movies.
Oh, for the love of God.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, this account is that, and also it tweeted like offensive shit about Korea, so clearly it's the same guy. And it's like, or maybe movies are watched by more than one person at a time. Like,
Other
I
human
don't
beings
know.
also watch movies.
Yeah. Like it's like I definitely understand why authors try to keep a low profile on Twitter. Like, it's pretty clear that it's a hostile environment the moment you kind of blow up. And then there's the author for Vinland Saga, Yukimura, who is literally just the sweetest guy on the planet.
It's
Like,
just
have you
a
read
nice
Vinland
boy.
Saga?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's a Viking stuff. It's really good. It takes some inspirations from Bleach and Toriko. It's really cool. But like, he is such a fucking sweetheart. Like, he tweeted out in English, like, I was wondering why y'all keep calling me the goat. I'm not an animal, but now I understand. Thank you for your support.
That's cute as fuck.
He's so cool. Like, I remember one time, one guy on Twitter posted a picture of him posing like naked in front of Vinland Saga volumes, and the author quote retweeted him and said, "Nice smile." Like, following Yukimura is so much fun because he's just such a wonderful guy. He replies to like almost everyone who asks him stuff in a polite manner. They're like, "Oh,
That's
sensei,
hilarious.
do you like Gintama?" And he's like, "Yes, of course I do." It's like, oh,
That's adorable.
yeah,
What a
he's so
cute what a
funny.
cute individual.
Yeah, like, and his manga is good. Like, I can definitely recommend it. It has probably one of my favorite arcs in anything ever.
Okay. That's a
Yeah,
pretty good
it's
recommendation.
yeah. I mean, that's also where like most of the like the big divide in the fan base comes from, because that arc happens not early, but it isn't the final arc of the story because the story isn't over. So there's like the constant thing of, oh, the story peaked there at this arc that is generally considered really good, and now it's just gotten worse. It's like, nah, it's just it had something really good going, and then the story moved somewhere else, which is still good, but you know, lightning in a bottle, right?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Sometimes you just do it.
you can't constantly get better. I don't know of any series that has ever been like, yeah, every single arc is better than the one before it. I don't know of anything like that.
Yeah, like it's just natural, right? And another thing on Vinland Saga that I will always appreciate is that because it's a historical manga, it's about the Viking wars in England around the year 1000 something. Um, and I was, I was reading it, and and then at the same time I was reading texts for my English bachelor's, and I was reading English history, and I was like reading stories from that time, and I was like, hey, this name is familiar. That's the guy who this week in Vinland Saga beat the crap out of the main character. That's awesome.
See, who told you that manga would never help you learn?
Yes, manga taught me that Thorkel the Tall was a Viking and could punch a horse.
Now you
And then
see, that's shit you wouldn't have known. Now
yeah, I
you
mean
know.
the real story is actually even cooler because in the manga he punches a horse. In real life, what he did is he killed a monk by beating him to death with the skull of a cow.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. But anyway, Villain
That's a
Saga,
pretty
big
cool way to do
recommendation.
that.
Villain Saga, really cool recommendation. I think everyone should check it out. Um, like it's I think it started as in a shonen magazine and then it migrated into seinen, and it's really good. Like it handles stuff like pacifism and how to live without violence in a world like Viking era England. And it's really cool. It handles it very tastefully, in my opinion. So yeah, recommendation.
Okay, I'll mark that down.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think about this theory that next chapter is the chapter where Yuta reveals that he's actually helping? Is that copium, or do you think there's some merit to it?
I think both. I think yes. It's definitely copium, but I think it's copium that has a chance of being real, because on one hand, we all want Yuta to be the good boy. Like we've been waiting for that forever, but at the same time, it kind of doesn't make sense for him to be anything else, because like he is Gojo's disciple and he is generally a kind kid, from how he was characterized in the prequel. So unless either A, major shit happened between the prequel and now, or B, the prequel has been greatly retconned, I can see him like revealing his true colors. Because I mean, he doesn't seem to have killed Yuji. He just stabbed him and is now just carrying him. Which, like, if you are so hell bent on avenging your friend, why wouldn't you just fucking cut him down immediately? Um, Also, I saw some people mention like he is very unemotional during all of it. Like he doesn't mention Toge's arm whatsoever. Um, when he fights Yuji in the last chapter, which is definitely weird considering how genuinely upset he got in the prequel about seeing his friends get hurt. And obviously, you can say like, oh, he's become more emotionally mature and more reserved, and like, yeah, but it feels like an overt omission that he doesn't even mention or consider it at all. So yeah, like I'm in on the copium. I think I'll have a whiff.
Yeah, I'm sniffing it too. I just need a win here, and
Mm-hmm.
I need the pain to stop. And
Uh-huh.
Yuta, it would just be nice for Yuta to turn around and be like, okay, everything's better now because I'm here. I'm here to make you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm All Might now. Everything is better now, and I'm gonna make you stop suffering. That's what I need to feel better. So I'm all in on the copium as well. I mean, it doesn't make a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot of sense to like, and plus, he like apologized to Yuji before he cut him, and
Mm-hmm.
and granted, he does that right after Yuji's like, I can't afford to die yet, so he could have just been like, well, sorry, you're gonna die. But I don't
Uh-huh.
know, man. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like he's being too tender. He's being too much of a soft boy for this to be like, I'm gonna fucking kill this rat bastard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's definitely something off. Um, and again, the fact that we now know, thanks to the gig interview, that Gojo did go meet Yuta before the incident, before the Shibuya incident, is giving me the assumption that he has to kind of be on our side. Like that's very recent. That's like a month or two ago. And he was seemingly still completely on board with whatever Gojo is doing. And so I kind of don't see him going after one of Gojo's like students because of Toge's arm, of all things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really see why he can't heal Toge like he healed Maki. I don't know if there's like a
Mm-hmm.
time limit on reverse curse energy wounds, but
Mm-hmm.
in the prequel, Maki definitely lost a limb, and he was like, "Nah, I got it," and it
Mm-hmm.
was fine. And now part of me is like, is he foreshadowing it? Is that why he used Inumaki's arm? Because we should know from the prequel with Maki's leg that that's not a real thing he'd be this upset about because he could fix it himself. Or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I'm so
Yeah,
I'm so down and out because Jujutsu Kaisen has just been beating my ass for so long that
I mean,
I'm down and out. I need something.
Gig is watching the show, and every time we say she's fine, he's like, "Oh, delaying the reveal for another 3 weeks."
So we're gonna figure out what happens to Nobara in 2024, is what you're saying?
Like, oh my god, like, they just continue the story and they never mention her again.
She just shows up at the end. Fine. Yeah, I've been off doing other things. I'm fine. It just ends with saying I'm fine.
I
It's
had a modeling job. They were surprisingly accommodating to Cyclopses.
it's literally just the final page of the whole series. Is Yuji turns around and Nobara's just there, and she's like, "What? Why are y'all worked up? I'm fine." And then it just ends.
I love Gege so much. He's such a fun author to try and predict and work around.
Yeah, everything in Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm constantly like, "Oh man, am I overthinking this? Am I overreading it?" And the answer is yes, but also it could be good. It could
Yeah,
be a
like
thing.
with Jujutsu Kaisen, it's always, am I overreading this or am I underreading this?
Right,
Because
because
it
you don't
could be
know, and
both.
then it just stresses you out.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of all I have to say on Jujutsu Kaisen,
Yeah,
unless there's
it was
something
another
else.
good chapter. Next week, I'm hoping that all this copium finally pays off and I can be happy again. But
Hmm.
it's been a while, so we'll see.
Yeah, like, oh my god, next week is actually going to be kind of chunky because we got all for One for All is probably going to reveal something about the second and third users. And regardless of whether or not it's Bakugo or not, I am going to cry uh, in anger or in relief. And then we're gonna have the copium move in Jujutsu Kaisen, and Mashle is gonna be good, so that's a guarantee. So like, yeah, next week's gonna be fun. I
Damn,
suppose
and
it's
it
not
might be a
even.
good Elusive Samurai chapter. Next week's gonna be a good week. This is gonna be every single series is like, yeah, we might have a good chapter next week.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Oh
all
my
about that.
god. Yeah, like that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I think I'm good there as well. So everybody, man, we kind of, no, that's not true. I was gonna say we made it basically through this without some crazy ass tangent, and then I remembered we did it in the first like 2 minutes of the show.
Yeah,
Damn
yeah,
it!
we
I
blew
was
our
so
load
proud of
very
us, and I was like,
early.
oh nope, we already did it.
Well, I don't know how much pride one can have in that because, like, I'm pretty sure some people at this point really do tune in just for the rants.
Yeah, probably. That's probably a decent amount of. I don't know because I also get comments from people that are like, the manga discussion is great, but every time you guys complain about politics, I just have to turn it off." And I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you don't want us to complain about politics, fix them.
Vote better, yeah.
It's just
Vote better, and then I'll stop complaining. Uh,
you random viewer, fix the systemic problem of capitalism like right now.
fix all of the flaws of capitalist society, and then I'll have nothing to complain about.
Yeah, basically.
All right, everybody.
Uh,
Then we're gonna go ahead and end it here. It's a bit of a short one, but that also means we might actually be able to get it out today. Uh, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye bye.